thoughts on the game. I'm one fat boy, and here are my NBA game predictions for December 28th of 2021. I'll be going over the 8 games tonight. I'll be giving my thoughts on the games for the spreads and the over-unders. Got the spreads from FanDuel, and then the over-unders are my personal thoughts. For the Bucks at Orlando, I'll be going with Milwaukee minus 12.5. This is due to the fact that Milwaukee had a close game with the Celtics on Christmas Day, and I assume that they'd like to have an easier game. They've gotten more back into the rhythm with Giannis back, so they should blow out the Magic pretty easily. I'll be going under 219.5 as I believe the Bucks defense will hold the Magic below 100 points, and the Bucks should be able to score at will whenever they want to, but they could be trying to test new things out, as they kind of been doing that, or at least I'm theorizing all season. For the Sixers at Toronto, I'll be going with Philadelphia minus 6.5. I think Philadelphia are starting to get some things together, while Toronto kind of getting figured out a little bit more. So I'll be leaning towards Philadelphia minus 6.5. I don't expect huge offense from either team, but mostly not the Raptors, so I'll be going under 221.5. As the 76ers front court, mostly Embiid, should be able to get a lot of work done. For the Wizards at Miami, I'll be going with Miami minus 6, as the Wizards team is mostly out, so it's pretty much Miami just has to show up and play respectably well, and then also they're playing at home, so that should give them another advantage. But Miami should handle a G League team, hence I'll be going under 250.5, as I expect Miami's defense to really hold Washington down to a very low amount of points, probably in the 90s. I wouldn't be surprised if they only scored in the 80s. And then Miami's not a huge high scoring team, but they should score like 108. For the Cavaliers at New Orleans, we're going with Cleveland minus 4.5. Yes, Cleveland has a few players out, but I think New Orleans having Valanciunas and possibly Ingram out. Well, I think it's actually Ingram will be out and possibly Valanciunas. That's going to be more of a detriment for New Orleans and more of an advantage for Cleveland. So the game being this close for minus 4.5, I think that's kind of far-fetched. I think Cleveland should blow this game apart. So I'd bet towards that, having Cleveland winning by a wider margin. And I'll be going with the under 219.5, as I don't know exactly who's going to be scoring all the points for New Orleans, as the offense kind of flows through Valanciunas and Ingram. And Cleveland, they still have Rubio, they still have Garland, so their offense should be running normally. And their defense will hold down New Orleans, so under 219.5. For the Lakers at the Rockets, I'll be going with Houston plus 4.5. I have no faith in the Lakers. I think Houston will just put more effort forth, so I'll keep them in the game. And as long as you stay in the game, you have a chance to win. As if I were the Lakers, I'd be trying to blow out the Rockets in the first half. But as with the Lakers this season, that's not going to happen. I expect no effort on defense by them too, so that's what's going to keep the Rockets in the game. As long as the Rockets hit their shots and this is a shootout, this game should stay close, and I think this will be a very high-scoring game, over 227.5. For the Knicks at the Timberwolves, I'll be going with the Timberwolves plus 5, even though they played last night. I think there's still some fight in them. They are playing at home, and they've been keeping their games close, and they've been sneaking out some wins, and I expect that against the Knicks too, as Randall's not the most consistent player in the league, and with Kemba back, it's like he's also notoriously not been consistent, especially over the past few years, so it's very random with the Knicks, so it's always safer to bet against them, and especially if your opponent is going to be plus, I think that would be the safest bet too. Now we go over 216.5, as Minnesota's defense, kind of mid-tiers, but also the Knicks, they have schemes, but I do expect that just a higher pace game. There's just more shots, so more opportunities to score. So over 216.5. For the Thunder at the Kings, I'll be going with the Thunder +6. I was trying to figure out why the Thunder were +6 before I was going in, so I went over with the injuries. No one's considerably out for the Thunder, and then no one's really out for the Kings either. So if I see the Kings are minus on a team, it's like I immediately take the other one. So OKC +6. I'll be going over 218.5, as the Kings can score. They just play a higher pace game, and the Thunder can run with them. So I expect a nice high scoring game. Who's going to do the scoring exactly? Probably Gilgeous-Alexander. That's who I'd put my money on. And yeah, Thunder should really just come out with a win for this game, no problem. And then the Nuggets at the Warriors. So I'll be going with the Warriors -6. You're playing at the Warriors. Kind of a hard place to win. So I'm usually going to bet on the Warriors to win when they play in their arena. And then -6, that's very reasonable. Warriors, they still have Curry. They still have Green. Well, actually, they don't have Green. I lied, but they have Curry. And that should be enough to beat the Nuggets, as even like the end of the Warriors bench, they aren't G League players, or like they're actually players that could be solid role players on other teams, so can't really bet against the Warriors. And then Denver, you still have Jokic, but you have some very inconsistent players on the Nuggets. Hence, I'll be going under 220.5, as I don't sense huge scoring outputs from the Nuggets, as Warriors defense should hold them down. And then the Warriors, just all season, they don't score. They score a good amount, but not crazy amounts. So under 220.5. Thank you for watching. Comment your predictions for any players, spreads, or over-unders to help others out. And then once again, thanks for watching.